times, children are withdrawn, they do not eat their food, they cry excessively for no reason, and you as parents wonder why they cry, or why they're withdrawn, or why they do not eat, or why they are absent-minded. Well, it may be as a result of mental illness or whatever depression they're going through. So today on Children's Clinic, we'll be taking a look at mental illness in children against the background of child trafficking. Stay with us to know what child trafficking is all about and some of the telltale signs you see in children, and you know that as what you need to keep an eye on your children. My name is Jumoke Adesua. Welcome to this week's edition of Children's Clinic. On this segment of Children's Clinic today, like I said, we're taking a look at speaking of for children against the background of mental illness. When you talk about child trafficking, well, you get to know what I mean in the course of the program as we progress. It's about Unitide season now. We're going towards the end of the year, and this is a period where you have a lot of praise for uncles coming home and for young teenagers who want to go out and get money for all what have you. So today on the program, I'm not going to do the talking alone, like you know. I have someone who is apt for this topic. She is the executive director of the Media Initiative Against Human Trafficking and Women Rights Abuse, Tobore Ovuorie. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
All right, Tobore, let's start off by talking about what we mean by child trafficking. You work closely with people who have gone through this, so I wanted to take time to, again, for the opposite time, what exactly is child trafficking?
Before we can talk about child trafficking, we need to first define what is human trafficking. So in a very simple term, layman's definition, we say trafficking has taken place when somebody, not necessarily a child alone, it could be an adult, is taken from his or her location. It could be somebody from Benue State being shipped down to Lagos State, or could also be still within Benue State. The person is being shipped from this point in Benue State to another point in Benue State, but there is deception. The person is deceived, and the end of it, the person is exploited. There is exploitation, and most of the time they will be forced. You force the person against his or her will to do certain or numerous horrible things. Now, child trafficking is a form of trafficking that entails, now we already have the definition of human trafficking. We now place children being trafficked. They could be taken outside the country or outside their immediate environment, to, let's say in Nigeria, to another state, or still within the same state where they are based, but taken to another environment. The child could be taken to a plantation to work, could, child labor, instead of the child being at school, the child is exploited, no returns, no money given to the child, or the money could be sent to somebody else. Although traffickers, once they are able to get your child off you, don't expect any money in return.
Now, yes, I want to take you up on that because you talked about deception.
Yes.
Does it mean that people who are taken from one point to another, who go to work, for example, maybe a child is taken from Benue State, for example, to Lagos State, and she's working, and I'm paying her, is that also a form of child trafficking?
Let me give a real life scenario. It happened, but I wouldn't mention any name or whatsoever for privacy reasons. The deception, there are two ways to it. In those days, it is the big uncles, the big aunties that go to the village or wherever, and they deceive the parents of the children. Since we are talking about children, they deceive the parents of the children that, oh, when I take this child to Lagos or to wherever big city or even outside the country, I will put the child in school, I will do this, I will do that, and the parents will fall for it, will believe them. Mind you, it is mainly those closer to us that are more likely to perpetrate this. So it's usually family, yes, people you trust. So the parents will then feel, since I don't even have the means of taking care of this child, okay, here is this big uncle or the big auntie that wants to help out. They release the child. Then this big uncle or big auntie takes the child to another city or to even outside the country, and the real drama begins. The child wouldn't be sent to any school. The child will become a house help. That is the least that can really happen to the child. Worse things do happen. And the parents back at the village or wherever most likely wouldn't hear from this big auntie or the big uncle anymore. That's what really happens. They wouldn't hear from. But that the child will work and they pay the child. No, the child wouldn't be paid. Okay,
now let's talk against the background of it now affecting the child to the extent that maybe the child suffers some form of depression or fatigue or stress. At what point does it become an abuse on the child?
A child who's been trafficked and is being exploited, definitely the child will become depressed. You see, in trafficking there is pre-trafficking, trafficking itself, and post-trafficking. So for anyone that has been trafficked and is lucky to remain alive and return to the country, in the case of those who are taken out of the country, life never remains the same. They come down with depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety and panic attacks. At least I'm certain of these four. They will certainly come down.
So for all of these four?
Yes, they will certainly go through this. Managing this isn't funny.
Okay, what's the effect of all of this on the child? The depression, fear, the post-traumatic experiences. What's the effect of this on the child?
The effect on the child includes all wouldn't remain well for the child. It will affect if the child were to go back to school. The child wouldn't be able to settle in back in school academically because mentally, emotionally, the child is affected. The child wouldn't socially, the child is equally affected, wouldn't be able to mingle with other children properly. And post-traumatic stress disorder, as a result of PTSD, the child would become so aggressive, gets angry unnecessarily, reacted to so many things. It's internal. And in this part of the world, issues of mental health is still not being discussed in the open.
No.
So other children will, oh no, that particular child, please don't go close to him or her, because he or she is going to attack you. This person is oversensitive. You have to walk on eggshells around this child. And the parents may not really understand what is going on with the child.
Okay, now I want us to, at this point, let's talk about some of these signs that the parents or guardian will notice in a child to know that he or she is suffering depression.
Okay, for that of depression, from personal experience, I would say the child, it runs extremes. The child will not be able to sleep, complete lack of sleep, or the child will sleep too much.
So it's the extremes. It's either he doesn't sleep or he sleeps too much.
Yes, the child wouldn't be able to eat, or we eat too much.
Okay.
The child will become so sad, isolating, just wants to be alone. But there are some rare forms of depression. There is hyper. You think the person is excited, but no, the person is dying
silently.
Yes, the person is dying silently, and if not noticed in time, suicide and depression, they go hand in hand. You end up having some children who are suicidal. You just hear that this child one day committed suicide. And people will be wondering, oh, but the child was happy. Or why will a child kill him or herself?
Now you talked about extremes. So it means that it's not only children who are withdrawn, who are losing the appetite, or who are not sleeping. You're talking about the hyper.
Yes.
So which means that if a child also is maybe too playful or eats too much, because if it's the extremes now, or what is that? I want you to take time to explain that.
Not too playful as in the regular little child, be too playful, or a child with ADHD or whatsoever. No, not that type of playfulness. The child there's this unusual excessive smile. The child is wearing a mask. Behind that mask is somebody dying, someone wanting help. But it now depends on the kind of environment the child
finds himself.
Yes. If it is an environment, there are some families that when a child tries to speak up that, oh, mommy, this is how I'm feeling, what do you know? They shut the child down. So if a child is coming from such an environment, he or she would rather, I better just keep quiet and I simply hold on to the reins, and it gets to a point the child can't take it anymore.
Now, if a parent notices these signs, what steps should the parent take to save the child?
Any parent who notices such, go to the hospital. Medical, mental health experts are very much available at general hospitals. I wouldn't know about the private hospitals, but I know of general hospitals. For instance, in Lagos, Lasuf, Loth, the government-owned hospitals. And I'm aware that many of them, the services there are free. You don't have to pay. Yes, in Lagos State, you don't have to pay. And for children, it's even much more. It's even friendlier. The doctors are on ground to really help. I'm speaking from personal experience. So no parents should start anything self-medication or let's try this, let's take the child to whatsoever religious outfits.
I was going to say, what is the place of religion is this?
They will certainly get abused. They will get abused. Which will worsen the condition of the child.
So the first place to go is to the hospital?
To the hospital, yes.
Now let's talk about the family. No doubt this will have an effect on the family.
Certainly.
So how does a family cope with this, and how do they help the child?
I would advise that no family in the first place should feminize poverty. That's sending the, oh, we're so poor, then our daughters should start churning in money. No family should use their child or their children as automated teller machines or start vomiting money for us. No. If that can be prevented, they wouldn't get to this other stage. But if unfortunately they get to this stage, they have to brace up. It's better not even get to this stage. Because to start with, when it comes to the medications the child will have to take, or anyone with depression, PTSD, you don't just take just a medication. There will be the mood stabilizers, antidepressants,
Which are quite expensive.
they're quite expensive. So let's say a family is living on the minimum wage, 18,000 naira, and in a month they have to part for medications alone. Your medications, you have to pay for them. Though to see the doctors and so on, the go therapy, you are not paying, yes.
But for the medications.
But for the medications. And the medications are quite expensive. If you don't know where the next meal is coming from, or you are surviving on minimum wage of 18,000 naira, can you really part with 15,000 naira every month on medication? Is it worth it? That's one. So there will be financial, economic stress for the family. And that in turn will get the parents angry, and they will transfer the aggression on the child, and the child will plunge further. And the cycle continues. Then there is the social stigmatization. In this part of the world, the social stigmatization, people will tell others, that woman, let me speak Yoruba, the child has lost it. Even if it is depression, just depression, the child is managing. As far as we're concerned in this part of the world, depression or whatsoever, they will say no, they're just putting icing on the cake. Everything is madness. So there is the social impact, negative impact for the family. There will be rejection, discrimination, the family, then even the child. Some families even discriminate as they reject the children at the end of the day.
And then before you know, it's religious issues coming.
Yes, and this is long term. This is long term.
She has to live with.
Treating, managing all these, you can't manage these under 6 months. No, it takes time. I'm aware of somebody that for the past 3 years now, this is what the person has been coping with, managing all these. It really takes time. And even when the child later stabilizes, much more later in future, let's say it's a girl child, she wants to settle down, wants to get married. Somebody somewhere who was aware of that will then tell the young man, that person, there is traces of madness in the family. This is what happened to this girl to this lady when she was a girl. And before you know, the cycle continues. If the young man is still interested in that, his family will tell him, no, this is Africa. Or he himself will run away. So it's not worth it at the end of the day.
All right, quickly, before we wrap up, what effect or what can the school do to help the child cope beautifully in school?
Post-trafficking?
Yes.
For the school, everything will have to go down on the teacher, the class teacher. The teacher must be ready to be patient, in short, extra patient. Because such a child coping with, I would say, a lot, that's quite a lot for a child. The child wouldn't have good concentration, wouldn't be able to concentrate in class. So when the teacher is teaching something, the child's mind has traveled
away.
Yes. Or the child could be having flashbacks. So the anxiety or panic attacks begin again. Because the child is reliving the horrible experiences. So it would really help if classroom teachers, or even subject teachers as well, schools having some orientation about mental health education for their teachers, so that even teachers should be able to spot symptoms, alert the school, and the school calling the parents, or the school could also alert hospitals, but with the parents being involved. But the teachers will need to be extra. Naturally, teachers should be patient people. But when it comes to a child coping with quite a lot, the teacher will need to be extra patient. Yes, okay. That's one. Even the use of words. In this part of the world, we use shaming words without even realizing. And the child coping with that much will be quite sensitive. Yes, will be quite sensitive. The child could have weeping spells. When I say weeping spells, I mean the child is just crying. And to others, they're like, why are you crying? The child can't say anything. It could be the child is remembering horrible experiences, but he or she can't even say it. If it is a girl child, possibly she was even raped. And she doesn't want to voice out. That would simply remember, I would start crying. So if teachers are educated about mental health issues, they will fare better with such children.
All right, thank you so much for time, Doctor. We really have to wrap it up here. Thank you for your time. And in case you're just joining us, the program is Children's Clinic, and today we're taking a look at mental illness in children against the background of child trafficking. I hope you have been informed. I have been. My guest has been Ms. Tobore Ovuorie, who is the Executive Director of the Media Initiative Against Human Trafficking and Human Rights Abuse. Thank you again for your time.
You're welcome.
Children's Clinic continues in a moment. Please stay with us. I hope you have been informed watching the interview. I have been informed, and I know that there are some telltale signs now. As a parent, you have to watch out for when your child is withdrawn or not behaving as you expected. These are some of the things you need to look into to guard the child. And you also heard from our guest on the show, the first port of call is the hospital, your medical doctor, and not the church. This is not to say that prayers do not work, but the first port of call is with the doctor, who will give you the right advice and counsel you need to know. I'll see you again next week on Children's Clinic. I hope you've had a nice time watching this edition of Children's Clinic. We took time to talk about mental illness in children against the background of child trafficking. I'll see you again next week. My name is Jumoke. Bye-bye.